Hello, my friend. Welcome. We're talking about the Aquarius full moon that hit very early this morning in Western Hemisphere hours, this morning, August 9th. And wow, what a wave of energy I have experienced this full moon as. I'm a bit later making this video than I intended because I've been resting a lot of the day. I don't know how you felt it, but I've experienced it as just this enormous amount of energy processing through. And I want to take you through exactly what is up with this Aquarius Leo polarity, how it ties into the massive amount of change that's happening in the broader collective right now, and point you towards what your personal story may be at this moment as far as processing, releasing, moving forward in both the highest possible service and the highest possible joy. Because that's the polarity that we're in with Aquarius and Leo. Leo is all about self-expression and radiance and just you being you, taking up space, being center stage, and just shining as pure you-ness. That's Leo energy. And I'll dive into a moment into the cycle that we're in, which kicked off with the Leo new moon a couple of weeks ago. But just imagine that right now, what we're processing is this surge of Leo radiant you-ness in a harvest moment that is all about how your gifts can best serve the world, can best serve the collective. Because that's the Aquarius side of the equation, is how are you here to serve? How are you here to create the future that we are looking for? The future that clearly isn't here yet when we look at the world and what's up today. And I want to go through the main things about this full moon and why it's a key marker in the saga that we're all in, the story and the journey that we are collectively on. So ground into your body as we talk, feel into what lands for you, feel what resonates. And let's notice first that a couple weeks ago, July 24th, feels like a lifetime ago to me, we had a Leo new moon, which activated like a new cycle of your self-expression, your you-ness taking up more space, your voice maybe being louder or bigger or bolder, and ultimately your joy. Because Leo is ultimately about pure being, pure radiating love and joy and expressiveness, and that being enough, like you just being you. So what was interesting about that new moon is it happened, and maybe you want to think back to like July 24th, if you remember that time. If you know your natal chart, I'll give you some points to look at too. But that new moon happened just a few days after Mercury, which represents our thoughts, our intellect, and our communication, had just turned around to go retrograde, meaning our thoughts and communication were on this kind of inward deepening journey when the thoughts and the communication may feel less clear, more glitchy, but it's a time that's all about deepening and often connecting to more intuition, connecting to different channels of knowing when that primary Mercury thinking way of knowing is like offline a bit. So we had this experience of Mercury turning around to go retrograde. Right after that happened, this new moon in Leo happened, activating a new cycle of your expression. But what I want you to get is that this whole Leo cycle we've been in so far has also been in the experience of Mercury being retrograde. So that means that whatever, and here's like the crux of this video, what I want you to get. There's so much energy you may be processing right now, and it may not be clear yet. It's probably going to get clearer when Mercury turns around, goes direct, and passes back over these points of the full moon that we just experienced. So back to Aquarius. This full moon happened in Aquarius, which is the sign of service, of humanity, of the future, progress, change. Aquarius is all about creating the world that we want to create. The symbol of Aquarius is the water bearer, going out and getting the actual water of life and bringing it back to the community, like what we truly need, what the world truly needs right now. I'm going to invite you to just tap into that for a moment. And I know it may feel challenging to imagine or vision a world that works right now, but tap into your Leo energy to however you can right now. That means your gifts, your joy, even if it may be a bit buried in all of the stuff lately. What would it be like to be more you, more pure, your expression, your gifts coming into the world, bringing what you uniquely have to offer in a way that serves the collective? I want to invite you to tune into that just now. Notice that something else interesting about this full moon is that it happens almost exactly opposite the place where Mercury turned around a few weeks ago. So if you happen to know your natal chart, don't worry about this if you don't know it, but if you know your natal chart a bit, look at 15 degrees of Leo and just notice what house it's in. That's going to tell you the area of life that everything I'm describing is primarily coming through. And also notice any aspects it makes to other planets in your natal chart. That'll just give you more of your own story. But we're looking to what is being released in the energy of this full moon that is all about your joy being able to pour through more and you being able to serve from that place of pure truth of what you're here to bring. Not the version the world told you you have to be, not the you that shrunk and contorted to make it work, but the deeper, truer version. That's what wants to emerge now. And if you're processing a shit ton of energy in the past couple days with this full moon, just know that whatever energy is processing is clearing and even like deeply purging and releasing what needs to move. And keep in mind, this will get clearer when Mercury goes direct. So breathe into that for just a moment, whether or not the story is clear to you in this now moment. Even without knowing the full story, I want to invite you right now to take a moment to ritualize this, to drop into that energy of release with this full moon, because it's got so much deep transformational energy happening. And if you are ready to completely rewrite the story of allowing your gifts to come through in the next level of joyfulness, creativity, expressiveness, and like truly serving what the world needs, allow whatever energy is processing in this full moon to release. And you can do that. If you don't know how, you can simply start with an intention that whatever is processing, whether I see it or not, I'm willing to let go of whatever I no longer need. I'm willing to breathe through it. I'm willing to release what no longer serves me or no longer serves the collective. So, last thing before we wrap up, one thing that is so powerful about this full moon, and there's just so many aspects to it. I'm looking at them, but I'm just going to talk to you about this thing called a kite formation that's going on. So just to summarize this, imagine the energy of a kite, because this looks like it's called a kite formation because it's like this kind of long, what's that shape? Triangle with a long tail, you know what I'm trying to say? And think of the energy of a kite when like the wind catches it and it lifts off, and it's that rush of power. That's the energy of this full moon, is like this rush of power, and it's created by a meeting by four different points. The head of this kite is Saturn and Neptune conjunct in the sign of Aries. Saturn is our diligence, discipline, lessons, and Neptune is your spiritual connection, your connection to all that is, to all you know, your spiritual practice. And you're being asked to do the real work here, to show up truly, diligently, disciplined, and to do it boldly in Aries. So that's the head of this liftoff energy is diligence, discipline, lessons, meeting up with your spiritual practice in the bold sign of Aries. The two sides of this kite, I mentioned there are 4 points. The two sides that are carrying and fueling are two different collective transits going on right now that are all about massive change. The first is Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto is deep, total transformation in the sign of Aquarius, of the collective, progress, the future coming in, total rewiring of how we live and operate as a collective. This is going on for the next like 20 years, but we're in it. We moved into it recently. We're into this period of massive change in the collective. You don't need astrology to tell you that, but the astrology reflects it. So that's one side of this kite. And the other side of the kite is Uranus in Gemini, which also just happened quite recently. This sudden lightning change, also progressive download from the future energy of Uranus, just moved into Gemini, which is the sign of like mass communication and fast communication and lots of it. This has sudden shifts from AI written all over it. Again, we don't need astrology to tell us that AI is transforming so much in our society, but it's reflected in it. I want you to just take this in right now, ground into your seat and your body, and notice that you've got diligence in your spiritual practice and connection leading the way here. You've got the massive energy of change in the collective, slow, deep energy of Pluto and Aquarius on one hand, sudden, lightning fast energy of Uranus in Gemini on the other. So, all this energy of the collective change is fueling this liftoff. And at the tail end of the kite is Mars. What's that? It's your physical body. If your physical body has had a tough time over the past couple days of this new moon, or if you've been tired or needing to sleep or needing to rest, or just feeling massive amounts of energy processing through your body, that's part of the picture here. And it's reminding us that even though we're in this moment of massive energy, even though we're in this moment of that energy being led by your spiritual connection, you're also here as a physical being, as a spiritual being in a physical body, right? And you're here in this physical body to be in your physical self, to hold all of that energy, that physicality, the very practical steps of creating, the chop wood, carry water energy of doing the next thing you need to do. As your spiritual practice is leading the way diligently, you're also asked, not just asked, like required to show up in the physical here and now, which is the challenge, right? Because being on the planet in a world that feels like it's gone completely crazy is not an easy time to be. This full moon reminds us that massive change is happening both quickly and slowly, collectively and individually. And you're asked in the moment of whatever you are releasing now to know that you are letting go of whatever doesn't serve your next level of contribution to the world, to the energy of change, to the energy of creating the world that we want to bring in, that we're here to create. So I'll invite you to take a moment if you choose to ritualize this full moon, and you can ask or write if you like, because we've got Gemini involved, which always loves writing. What's my part here? What do I know about how I'm here to contribute? I don't need to know the whole thing, but I can choose a next step. And Mars at the tail end of this powerful kite energy asks me to simply take the next step. I may not see the whole picture yet. By the way, I mentioned Mercury turning around. That's happening in just a couple days. When is that? Today's August 9th. It's turning around in like the 10th, 11th. So like literally in a day or two. there's going to be some more clarity in whatever all you have been processing in this kind of shitstorm of energy, of collective transformation that we're all in. So breathe into your body, breathe into your intentions, know that what you know, see, and feel is real, even if the world doesn't reflect it yet. You can ground into it deeper, you can trust yourself more, and you can know that you are here to serve, here to contribute, and here to do that in the purest, most joyful version of you. And that's what this full moon invites. Sending you tons of love. Please like and subscribe if this has been helpful, and I will see you soon. Take great care.